Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to the Habibis podcast, three game developers drinking Arab tea. I am your host, Osama Dorius.
I am Rami Ismail.
And I am Fauzi Mesmar.
Okay, so what do we want to talk about this week?
I don't know. I've again played some video games. I've also watched WandaVision.
Oh, so have I.
I was very excited. I mentioned it last week as something I wanted to watch. I'm not really a TV series person normally, but I decided to give this one a go. Fauzi, did you watch it?
Not yet.
Okay, so we can't talk about it.
Well, we can talk about it a little bit without spoiling.
Okay.
There's a lot of other people other than me listening, probably.
Well, I mean, we can give them a warning to tune out for now.
We can do that. So, are you big
without
on the
spoilers?
MCU?
Then
Are you big on the MCU?
yeah. I've watched everything like 6 times. I love
Yeah.
those movies.
Yeah, me too. I'm a very big fan. But I mean, I've been a comic book fan since I was really young, so I'm in love with those characters, movies or not.
Nice.
It's on Disney Plus, isn't it?
Sorry, what did you say?
I was saying, is it on Disney Plus?
Yeah, it's Disney
Yeah.
Plus.
Exactly.
It's really smart because I had actually stopped my subscription after I watched everything I wanted to watch, and now I have to keep my subscription because the episodes are every week.
Yeah, I mean that's the right strategy for any of these streaming services at this point. Netflix the only way Netflix can keep up right now is because they're releasing so much that you can't cancel because there's a next show that's coming up right afterwards. But for everyone else, like for Disney Plus, for me, I was about to cancel before WandaVision came out. It's the only thing keeping me there.
It is very well done though. Like without talking spoilers, like the level of quality in the central conceit and the way they're acting it out and sort of the versatility of it is it's really good. I'm enjoying it a lot.
Me too. I was laughing out loud at so many moments. It was actually really good. Really, really good.
But it's like sort of like the sort of laughter that you have where you're laughing genuinely at first, and then as the laugh goes, you realize it's you're actually a little scared too or something. That kind of
uncomfortable laugh. Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I've also started on Hitman.
How do you like it?
I mean, it's Hitman, right?
Yeah.
So if you like Hitman, you're gonna love Hitman 3. It is first of all, there's a lot of nostalgia involved, but besides that, it's just very well done. The levels are fun and interesting and just incredible little puzzles, right? It was really interesting because I was trying to explain it to my mother the other day because she's playing Ghost of Tsushima now on her channel, and there's always that point during a game where I start bringing up like potential next games, right? Things that I think are interesting. And I was trying to explain Hitman, and my mom really doesn't like violence in games. And this is a game about being an assassin, right? And I was trying to explain because it's weird. I don't think of Hitman as a violent game anymore. I used to. The original games were definitely super violent. But the current Hitman games are like slapstick humor puzzle games about assassination.
They're so goofy. It's hard to just think of them as just violent.
Right, but then sorry.
They had to lean into the goofiness, right? Because they didn't have the ability to make it perfectly realized at the time, I believe. So I think leaning into it was the right decision. Kind of like what Saints Row did, where it started off a little less slapsticky and got more and more like over the top as the series went on. Not to that degree, but yeah, I think it's a good choice.
The thing that got me is I was like, okay, so it's slapstick, right? It's about putting an explosive in a golf ball, or getting somebody to test an ejector seat while it's still armed. It's silly, and I start the trailer, and it's just like the grimmest real conspiracy kind of thing I've ever watched, and I'm like, they're really playing sort of like this balance here, right? Like they're very serious about their story, and it's just like the future of the world is at stake. And then you start up the level, and it's like, what if I put some poison in this that makes him go to the toilet, and then I follow him in the clown's outfit?
So I have a question.
So
if you've been playing Hitman for a while, this is Hitman 3. right?
Yes,
So it's
which
like
is like the ninth game in the series or something.
because I think the last Hitman I played was Hitman Absolution, so I'm a little bit out of the loop. And I know that they went episodic at some point, and this is like a continuation of this, an entirely new Hitman. What's the deal?
So it's kind of weird. It's kind of a collection of Hitman plus a continuation of Hitman.
Okay.
Interesting.
Um, so I think it basically includes a number of stuff from the previous games. I think, if I'm not mistaken, all of it. So
Okay. Wow.
um, so Hitman 3 is, from what I understand, it's just Hitman 1 and 2 and 3, and I think they stayed on that main storyline course this time.
Okay, because I was gonna say the same thing. I haven't played a Hitman for quite some time. I don't remember the last one I played. But I played like Blood Money and other ones, other old ones. I can't remember the order in which they came out anymore. But I didn't play Hitman 1 or 2, and I was wondering if it would ruin anything. I don't feel it would because of the type of game it is, but I was still curious if it would ruin everything if I jump into 3. And now you're kind of saying that I didn't miss out. I could jump into 3 and potentially catch up, right?
Right. I
Yeah, that
mean,
sounds great.
the story, when you think about it, the story really is um, the story is pretty straightforward, right? Like assassin, handler, stuff goes down. So there's not too much you will miss if you have no idea what's happening. Like 47 is sort of ambiguous as a character anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not that. It's really not that. There's not that much that you miss. I feel. It's really. I mean,
I could barely remember anything from the original Hitman's. I remember like a shower scene, and I remember like some plots to a conspiracy to like make me not like it's vague anyway. So I don't think I'd be missing out
right.
anything. I'm actually looking forward to it. I think I'll pick it up.
It's really good. Like I said, I've only played the opening mission after the tutorial and just had a ton of fun.
What I remember of the last time I played Hitman Absolution, I was playing it with my brother, and I remember the brick being so overpowered. Like I think we used the brick and we just killed everyone in the one
Yep.
map. Just hide behind the wall, see someone, bam, with the brick. Like I was like, no guns, no silencers, you didn't need any of this stuff, just the good
Yep.
old brick.
It's extremely powerful.
Get through the entire level.
I will say this is one thing that was funny because I was playing the Dubai map. Is like obviously you come across a sign that has the Arabic backwards.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was like, oh come on,
Yeah.
come on, you got so many things right. And then this it's a detail, but it still really stings to just walk around and be like, oh well, they didn't care about that one. It was extra sad because it's actually a sign that kind of helps you navigate the place if you're in it.
Oh, so it'd be
oh man.
useful too.
Yeah, it would have been. It's good to have if you're just kind of running up and trying to figure out which way to go, especially in
That's
sort of like
such a common thing to happen.
yeah, it's computers, right? It's a combination of computers and putting in enough care.
Yeah, like one localization tester could have caught that easily. So it's not translators. Like it was, if you read it the other way, you can understand what they were saying.
Right,
So it's not the translator's fault, but like, come on, just a little bit of testing goes a long way.
right. It's either a process error where they're not flagging every asset that has Arabic to get checked, or it's a translation error, which seems unlikely because most of it was translated well. One of the signs was actually wrong, but that could also just be an asset error.
Yeah.
Or the people who are implementing it are not getting it checked at all by localization, which is even worse. Anyway, IO Interactive reached out to me when I talked about it on Twitter, and they've said that they've made it a P2 priority bug where P1 is game breaking. I mean,
Wow.
so they have it on their list and they're going to fix it. I mean, it's a very details oriented studio, obviously. So,
Mhm.
inshallah, it'll be fixed soon.
Inshallah, it's a
That's
relatively
cool.
simple fix. I'm sure they're going to fix it in the next
Right.
patch. Shouldn't take long.
Yeah, yeah.
What have you?
Yeah, good on IO
Yeah.
for taking care of this.
Shame that it had to go via Twitter, but good that it's getting fixed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what have you two been up to?
Um, I've played. It's like I can talk about a video game and a show actually. So
Okay.
a video game. Speaking of like services and stuff, I picked up Observation on Game Pass.
Oh, you mean
Uh,
the one in the spaceship?
yeah, exactly. So it's this indie game. I've had it on my radar, but I think it came out in 2019.
Yeah.
but I just never got to play it when it came out, and it came out on Xbox I think in 2020. It's an indie game. I think it's published by Devolver Digital. No, Code is the developer. I think they're a studio in Scotland. So it's you play as an AI in a spaceship, and like there's something seriously went wrong in that spaceship. The crew's almost all of them gone missing. This is not spoilers, it's like
Mhm,
how the game starts.
mhm.
And there's like one crew member that is kind of asking you. It's kind of like, hey Google, can you find where everybody has gone? And you're the Google in this case, and you just you you're solving puzzles in order to help that human kind of figure out what's going on. And at the same time, you switch between cameras, you check on pressure systems and stuff like that. You flip switches, and you do a bunch of puzzles. It's interesting. Like the atmosphere is kind of nice. You definitely feel like the whole void in space. There's this eeriness to the mystery that is kind of unfolding, and it looks super cool. It looks very nice, like very high quality graphics.
Yeah, I love that game. I
Mhm.
thought it was great. I think it got on my Game of the Year's list in 2019 because it was
Oh
just
yeah,
it's so incredibly good. Did you did you finish it?
not yet. I'm halfway through, I think.
Gosh, the atmosphere in that game though, like the conceit is great, right? Because they're kind of flipping
Mhm.
that the AI is evil on you, where you're like, "Am I evil?" Um, but at the same time, it feels very familiar as a setting.
Mhm.
You're just like, "Oh, I understand the story. I understand how it's gonna go." You're just playing the wrong character.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
really, really enjoying that.
Uh,
But wait,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
a
just
little
a lot going
confused.
on.
Are you the? You're not the AI. You're actually an
You
astronaut.
are the AI.
You are the AI. Okay, and
Yeah,
there's
so
an
you play
astronaut
the
flying
AI of
around.
the ship. Yeah, and there's an astronaut in the spaceship, and you're the AI, and the
Wow.
astronaut is the one yelling, "Hey Google," and you're Google in this case.
Okay,
Uh,
I
and you're
understood
yeah,
just
that
trying to
differently.
figure stuff out.
Okay, that's intriguing. I've never been an AI in a game before.
you
Yeah.
basically you can move between any camera to sort of see the environment. You can hack items to add them to things you can manipulate, and you interact through like sort of uh, weird mini games or this interface prompt, and that's all you can do. You're kind of stuck to your character and what they ask you to do.
That just
Yeah.
shot up on my list now because I've had it on the list of games to play, which is getting stupid long. I'll never play all of these games, but now I'm much more intrigued. I saw videos, I saw a trailer. I always thought that you were like the astronaut, and that there was a voice from like Mission Command or something, navigate like telling you where to go, and that it's going to end badly for you. That's what I imagined. I haven't played the game at all, so this is all guessing.
Yeah.
But this is actually more intriguing than that. That's interesting.
It's a relatively short experience as well. It's like what, like
Mhm.
six, not even six, like probably like 4 hours to get through.
Around 4 to 6 hours, I'd say.
Good. So you can sit down like an evening and play it in a few days. I played it in one go. I was just shocked.
Yeah,
It's really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I like the atmosphere a lot. I think the one caveat I might have about it, but it's very common in this style of puzzle game. It's like, but maybe in the section that I've seen, that I haven't seen most of the game yet. But it seems like they're mostly simple puzzles. Like you need to find the right thing to do to kind of proceed with the story events. So there's not a lot of like decision making happening. It's very linear in those chain of events. But yeah, I haven't seen. Yeah, there's still much to see in the game, so I'll see how it goes. But like the world building, the atmosphere, everything around this game, I'm really intrigued by, and playing the AI is super interesting.
it is. Well, thank you for the recommendation.
Yeah, please let me know how you think if you play it.
We'll do.
And the show I watch is on Netflix. It's a Japanese show called Alice in Borderland. You guys heard about this?
I've heard about it. I haven't seen anything of it.
Same.
I've seen the first episode. It's generally like I think it's my kind of like drama. Like it's a drama show that is kind of drama thriller. That is, it could be an anime just as easily. I don't know if you guys ever like read or played watched a battle royale. Played, I know you played a bunch, but
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
I've
that
watched
doesn't count.
the original Japanese one. Yes. I love
Mhm.
Yeah, imagine that being a TV show in which like there's a life and death kind of game going on, and the characters are the contestants, and just weird stuff keeps on happening.
good. You recommend it?
First episode was really interesting, so yeah, really enjoyed that. The main character is a person that plays a lot of video games. And like people keep telling him that he's lazy or whatnot for just playing video games, and he's like, sucking at life for stuff. But then when they're placed in this environment because of their video game and puzzle solving ability, they're like saving everybody.
So there's just an absolute pioneer in animation, really kicking ass in this.
Exactly,
Okay, okay.
exactly.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I might check that out. That sounds fun.
Yeah,
it's fun so far. I'll watch a bit more of it before I can say like I absolutely recommend it. But the first episode was very very entertaining.
good. Well, you mentioned observation was a short experience. Speaking of short experiences, another game that had Game Pass that I had missed when it came out, I played Donut County.
Oh,
Ooh.
I enjoyed it. It was actually really nice and sweet. And it was so satisfying. It's basically, for people who haven't played it, you're a hole and you move around and you suck things into you and you get bigger, then you could suck in more, like bigger things. It's kind of like Beautiful Katamari, but like in reverse. And it reminds me of an old EA game called Feeding Frenzy, where you're a fish, you eat other fish, you get bigger, and you could eat more fish. And it has that same satisfying feeling of I see the goal keeps getting closer, and when I reach that goal, there's another goal right afterwards. That's right there, which is kind of the same lever that games like Civilization hit for me because I have my I have an ability that's about to unlock in 2 days, and I'm super looking forward to it, and 2 game days, or whatever. And then as soon as I get it, there's another one that unlocks in 3, and that's actually one of the reasons I can't sleep when I play Civilization because it's just one more thing that's just around the horizon. The good news is with Donut County is you can sleep because the entire game took me maybe 2 or 3 hours. It's really short. It was a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. What else did I play? Okay, I continued Cyberpunk. It's good. I'm enjoying it. It's like I didn't get to a point where I could talk intensely about it or any differently than last week. So it's a little bit more of the same, but it's continuing that goodness. Um, Otherwise,
Osama,
yes,
you've met the Keanu Reeves character, though.
yes, that is the part I was talking about last week when I said
right.
that hit,
Uh huh.
and when that hit, I was like, okay, this kind of feels like it should be the beginning of the game. How long have I been playing? Like 6 hours at that point, four or six. I don't. I'm guessing. I don't know for sure. I should have checked the timestamp, but that like everything before that felt like a prologue. So I'm like a 6 hour prologue. How long is this game? Especially because I was not engaging in any side quests. I was like, this is a game I don't have a lot of time these days. I'm just going to do main content, and after I finish the game, I'm going to decide if I'm going to do any side content. Uh, but yeah, so I still don't know. The question stands, but don't answer me because it's a spoiler. But
Yeah.
was that really the prologue? How long is this game? I don't know.
It's cool seeing you experiencing that. So I'm looking forward for the update.
Yeah. So yeah,
But I like that section a lot. I thought it was really
oh,
cool.
I really did. That part was really cool, and there was a lull right before it happened where I'm like, okay, this is a little aimless. It felt like, and then this, and then do that, and then do this without any really
Yeah,
strong link between them, and that kind of tied it together. So I'm
yeah,
expecting it to get better from this point on. Not that it was bad. It's just it didn't live up to Witcher 3 standards up until now.
yeah.
What else? I started Days Gone because I missed it before, and I heard a lot of people. Someone asked, I forget who, someone on Twitter asked, "Is Days Gone worth my time?" And a lot of people were said no, it's a waste of time, and a lot of people were like, "It's my game of the year that year." And anything that polarizing, I have to play.
Right.
Yeah.
I it's the way I've always tried to describe to people who said should I play it is the game I hated most while playing it that I ended up loving at the end. And
Okay.
it's not because the ending is particularly good, it's because the good things build up very slowly over time and the bad things are kind of continuous.
Huh.
They have that zombie game problem. You know the zombie game problem?
Yeah.
The one where you start the game and you're always super underpowered because the zombies have to be scary.
Yep.
But then just being scared at the zombies doesn't really make for a fun game, so you have to get more powerful. It feels like And then there's like that middle point where the zombies are like scary, but you can deal with them. And then there's like the end game part where you're so overpowered that there might as well not be zombies because you're just gonna like lawnmower through them or something.
Okay, I didn't get to that part yet. I see 3 zombies. I'm like, whoa.
Right.
I'm
So,
still early on.
so Days Gone feels like it just extended that over a runtime that was way longer than they originally expected. So the sweet spot is actually kind of rare in the game. That sweet spot is the best part of the game, but until you get there, it's gonna be rough. At first, the zombies are scary, feels kind of fun, but then for me, it kind of became tedious for a long time, and then I got too powerful, and the game was just sort of like running through a space.
Yeah.
Yeah, the game does a lot of stuff really well. It's just kind of hidden behind a little rocky.
Yeah, I like the
Maybe.
voice acting a lot. A lot of the story, like they start off strong, but they kind of pepper it with a lot of uninteresting side quests in the middle. I looked it up to see how long the game was, and I think it's about like 35 hours or 40 hours,
Yeah.
and that just I can see that this could already, without even having finished it, I think this would have been a better experience if it was a 10 or 12-hour game, just because I feel that there's a lot of padding already. I'm like 10 hours in, something like that.
Right.
I liked it enough to play it for 10 hours. I love the voice acting. I love the voice acting system. Like when someone calls you and it interrupts and then you continue the conversation later, it felt mostly natural. There are a few situations where it just didn't work, and that's okay. Like,
Right.
it's hard to make a perfect system, but mostly it was like it really felt like the people did a good job of voice acting and making those characters come alive. And I'm intrigued enough at this point that I want to see how it ends. I want to, like, there are enough plots that I'm invested in, but every time there's like a side mission type fetch quest in between, I kind of zone out. I won't lie.
Just you wait until you get to this one mission where you have to burn like 30 nests or something, and you're just
Oh,
running around being like, I don't have fire. How do I get fire?
oh no.
I think I spent like an hour and a half on that one quest because something in the design got out of whack and I couldn't find any fire anymore, and it was a disaster.
No, no.
But like you said, the story is very rewarding. The world is really interesting and fun, and they do a really good job. So knowing you, I think you'll enjoy it.
Thank you. I actually appreciate that. I actually didn't expect to like it very much because I don't really relate to the biker gang type. I didn't like what was the Sons of Anarchy, that TV show. I didn't really like that. It's not my thing at all. So I didn't expect to like it much. But they really did a good job of humanizing them
Listen,
and boiling it down to real world problems like zombies.
Deacon is kind of just like a really gruff you, to be honest. I think he just really wants to hug people, but instead it's a
I'll
zombie
take it.
world. So
Because I did find him relatable once I got to know him. I'm like, you know what? I'll take that. That's a compliment. He's a good guy. He
yeah,
really is. And I like playing good people. I really do.
he cares for his friends. He like really wants to do things right by everybody, but there happens to be a zombie apocalypse. So
Thank you, Rami. You're making me blush. I appreciate it.
I don't know how you play two or like what is it, the three different single player experiences at the same time, and you like jump in between them. Do you read like four different books at the
I
same
do
time? When you...
actually. I'm no joke. I used to actually have a book on my phone, like an ebook, a physical book that I put in my gym bag. So I would only read it when I would go to the gym. Another book, well, maybe this is too much information, but in the bathroom. And I would just like wherever I am, pick up whatever book I have nearby and continue that story where it left off. And there's always the first like half of the page where I'm like, what was happening again? What's that person's name? Like that does happen a little bit, but always comes back to you. There's always like, oh yeah, and it brings you a sense of discovery in a book, even that's not intended. Sometimes, where like you're re falling in love with characters, or you're re being engaged in plot lines. I can't help it. I'm pretty sure I have ADHD, so the doing many things at the same time thing is kind of par for the course for me. Like I can't, like I hyper focus on one thing, then drop it and move on to the hyper focus on the next thing. But that doesn't mean I won't come back to hyper focus on the first thing again. You know what I mean?
right, I don't know. Like I've tried reading on phones. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. I've tried it 100 times. Like eventually I bought a Kindle and that worked a little better. Just one of those e-reader things. But everybody was like, "Oh, Rami, if you're traveling so much, you should just read on your phone." I just keep getting messages. I just keep ending up on Twitter. It's like, or like, getting messages from random people or whatever. I never get to read. It's a
Yeah.
disaster.
It's easy to get distracted on your phone, especially if you're like in chat groups and one of those groups gets going.
Oh boy.
I know exactly what you're talking about, especially if we're talking about the family chat groups.
Oh,
Like,
you're one of those too?
oh hell, one of those, multiple
Oh.
of them. There's the one with only my siblings that my parents aren't in. There's the ones with my parents are in. There's the one with a little bit more of an extended family. There's the one with my mother's, like my mother-in-law and her family, like my wife's family. There's so many of them, and they're all different. And I think that's why you need to have different ones, because whoever, of course, like anything else, the makeup of a group will dictate the kind of messages that you see
Do you,
in them.
do you also have the one where it's just an auntie sending you like flowers?
Always like a bunch of those flowers and coffee and good morning in like
I
Springfield.
genuinely thought that was just my family.
No, absolutely not just your family.
Do you
My,
think?
my
Do you think the aunties are sending this stuff between each other? You think there's like a secret auntie network?
well, I
Of
mean, we
course
have
there is.
secret sibling network, so I'm sure they have a secret auntie network. No doubt about
Of course there
But
is.
like,
it.
it's like a cross family auntie network where they're just like, oh, what if we all send them this one with this purple flower this week? Like, you think we're all secretly like, did you get a purple flower recently? My auntie sent me a purple flower recently.
All the flowers blend in my head after a while. I don't remember which color.
My dad's phone is like filled with this stuff, like gigs of photos of
Yes.
good morning, sabah al khair, and coffee and all of this stuff. Because he's on so many different groups, and it's all like different constellations of the same people. But it's like 20 of those here, but 15 in this one, and minus these three other people because they want to talk about something that Abu Riyad doesn't want to hear about. And like, uh, and he has this thing with like WhatsApp, just whatever photo you get on WhatsApp is saved on your
On your phone.
on your
Yes.
phone's memory. So it's like my phone is getting slow, and I'm looking at it. It's like, yeah, of course, it has like 8 gigs of flowers.
I had to turn off the auto saving in WhatsApp because the stuff that they were sending me, there was a lot of like Quran, there was a lot of like flowers, there was a bunch of stuff about the Arab Revolution. So I had like people throwing rock, and I'm just going through TSA or airport security, just being like, if they grab my phone right now, I don't know what auntie sent me, but like,
I the first time when Trump became president in the States and I was going to GDC for the first time, I actually did clean out my phone, removed all the images, deleted WhatsApp for that same fear, because I'm afraid they're going to look at some like an Arabic joke, like a meme or something, and read the writing and not understand it and think and just pull me aside. Like that's 100% plausible. So
I
I
mean,
just like took the time to clean it out.
yeah, I used to clean my phone for flights to the US pretty much only.
Yeah. There's always in between the flowers for me, at least from my mom's side. I learned a lot about my mom because of WhatsApp, because at this point she was sharing, I don't know if it's the same for you, but a lot of conspiracy theories. And we
Oh,
had to do the educational look, that video that you just shared, there's no sources for it, like there's no like you have to read into it. And she's like, oh okay, like she wouldn't fight us. Like initially she would be like, I don't know, it seems legit to me. That turned into, oh, every one of my children are disagreeing with this, they probably have a point, which turned into, maybe I'll stop sharing them with these people. I think she just shares them now with like her other groups of friends. I hope that's not the case. I hope there's like an education that happened where she's like, okay, I'm going to check sources, but I have the suspicion that she's just, it's tabling it and
I
moving it to
mean,
the side.
to be fair, there is at least around the generations before us. There's definitely sort of like a conspiracy mindedness. It's just very different conspiracies from the ones here in the West, right?
And they're valid. Like honestly, if you think about it, my mom grew up in Saddam Hussein, Iraq, where he literally had lookalikes, and they would go in front of the crowd and they would talk, and then more than one time uh, they got assassinated. and people went out in the street and started to celebrate, and they were picked up and like never to be seen again. So
Right.
that's the world that my mom comes from, where you cannot trust the government.
Right.
And so conspiracies, like I don't blame her at all for.
To be fair, like I think the thing that the way I always explain to people, because I've had these conversations about like these sort of conspiracy messages that proliferate really quickly through these groups. Like imagine if the U.S. government just brought out a document right now that was like CIA announces 9/11 was an inside job, right? Then every conspiracy person in the world would go like, "See, told you."
Yep.
Told you so. But in the Arab world, that's actually what happened, because the conspiracy theories were like, oh, the CIA was behind the coup in Iran, the CIA this or,
Yep.
and then the CIA goes like, oh yeah, that was us.
Exactly.
So everybody's just like, well, then clearly the CIA is behind everything we can't explain. So
they might still be. We don't know for
But it's
sure.
funny because you're right. Like the group is 100% that. It's like flowers, cute little motivational message. The CIA is behind X, Y, and Z, and then more flowers.
There's more flowers.
The most terrifying things is that like when I started seeing my dad evolving from using just the WhatsApp to like see these things, and like it seemed like he is now on Facebook, and I'm like,
Oh
oh god.
no!
Oh no.
The minute he got on Facebook, first thing he did is that he started adding everybody. So he's like adding, so like, and because he added me, he started to get like recommendations of my friends. So like I had like some of my friends from New Zealand, like my friend Jerome, he was texting me the other day. Is like, dude, your dad is sending me flowers with some Arabic writing every morning on Facebook. I genuinely have no idea what it is, but it's kind of. And I told him yes, he kind of sends good morning to everybody, and it's like, oh, I feel like I'm part of the family.
It's so sweet.
But at some point, like my dad, I guess, got tired of sending like that flower to like every single person on Messenger, kind of separately. So one day I woke up and he added me to this mega messenger group of 340 people. To which like he added everybody, and then I was like, Fauzi was added to this conversation, and then flower photo. I was like, oh god. And then people started responding. It's like, oh, good morning, Abu Fauzi, good morning. I was like, oh my god, my phone is about to explode. Leave the group immediately.
Your father went viral in that way that people go viral who just DM everybody. Can you please retweet my tweet?
I love it. I want to add your dad on Facebook now. We'll look for.
He'll add you soon enough. I'm surprised they have it already.
And also, like, do you also get the messages that are just like this giant wall of just Arabic text about some preacher doing something somewhere in the world, and it just starts with forwarded many times. Right? You're just like, excuse me, why am I in chain messages again? I thought I'd past the point where I was 16 years old on MSN. Like,
how is it that we have these exact same experiences?
I genuinely think that our families are just in these groups together as well.
6 degrees of separation, I guess.
Right. Like, I'm pretty sure our parents found each other now that they know this podcast is happening, and they're like, "Oh, should we send everybody a good morning message? Yeah, which one are you sending? Oh, I'm taking the orange flower and the preacher story this week.
I want to shake things up today and send the one with the flamingo."
Right, yeah. Yeah, when you get really creative with. Also, is it just because you get like these 25 megabyte animated GIFs of just like a star pattern? It's just like stars blinking, but
Yes.
somehow the GIF is like looping 26 times, and the entire loop 26 times is saved into the file instead of just like one loop.
Yeah, we also get all the pictures, like phone pictures of real photographs, like all the time of like us when we were kids. And like, Mom, I bought you a scanner. You could take a better picture of this. But it's endearing, and like I love it. It's a glimpse into the past.
Right. I genuinely think that's the only place I ever see children's photos of myself is there. Like I don't know where the photo albums went. They're probably at one of my parents, but I get photos from those that apparently my uncles and aunties took when I was much younger. When those photos were taken, they probably took photos of those photos or got copies of those photos, and now I get them sent to me every now and then. I was
Yeah.
like, yes, I was small once. This is correct.
Yeah, I remember that. Like I don't know. My memories of these instances from before are always so what's the word I'm looking for? Focused on not the thing that's actually happening. So sometimes like, oh yeah, that time I met that really friendly cat, I was at this huge event with all my family around us, but all I remember like is that one specific moment in time. So it's really interesting where these photos actually let me bridge things, like connect the dots between all these different events. Like, oh, these people who I knew before, they're married. They weren't always together. That was the day where they joined. Like that, those connections are interesting. It's like recipes, when you have when you eat a food that your mom made and you haven't had for a really really long time, and it just takes you back to a specific moment in time where you had that same meal.
Right.
It's incredible. Like our minds work in really interesting ways.
It would be super fun if we just like create some kind of chain message that we send on one of these groups about like how WhatsApp collect your data, and then watch as those groups start to fumble their way into migrating into other chat
I
stuff.
I genuinely think that has started, right? Because
Yeah,
so I've been using a number of messaging apps, but one of them is Signal, right? Which is
yeah.
sort of like the one of the more privacy minded ones,
Mhm.
and it sends you a message when it gives you like a heads up when a contact in your phone joins if you have that setting turned on, and I just turned that on. One by one, my Arab family started coming, like just trickling in. Like it started with my dad, who I was like, "What? I didn't tell you about this. How did you end up on this sort of like tech platform?" And then aunties started coming in, and then cousins started coming in, or nephews. I don't never know which one it is in English. More people started coming in, and I'm just like, there. This is a mass. This is, but like, it's hard to explain just how massive that is because WhatsApp was so ingrained in the culture,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Like, this is like a mass migration to a new app. It's kind of huge.
it's cool. I think in
Yeah.
in the Arab world, there's always this like a problem-solving mentality that gets people to kind of explore software that I've never heard of before. Like there were in some countries they banned voice over IPs for like WhatsApp and stuff like that, so you can't use it for phone calls. So like I would get from like relatives or something like use this IMO software. I've never heard of it before.
Right, I know.
When I call my mom, I use Line because
Yep.
because like the telecommunication companies there blocked WhatsApp phone calling. So I use my Japanese account and Line to call them. And I remember at some point there was like some people in I forget in which country they were using PUBG to voice chat because PUBG had voice chat and all the other voice over IPs were kind of blocked and they were using PUBG for that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
there was a period where we went through like 50 apps. It was like IMO, Viber, I
Fiber,
don't
that's
know,
the one.
Viber,
Yes,
yeah,
the purple
purple,
icon.
yeah, the purple one. Like just tons of different apps, and then they always just kind of end up back at WhatsApp for some reason when things calm down. But yeah, this time it feels different. It feels like they're actually going to Signal, which I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'm on Telegram,
Yeah,
but maybe I
absolutely.
should check out Signal actually.
It's not. I mean, I like it. I've been using it for a long time. But yeah, Telegram is fine as well. Basically, anything that isn't Facebook owned is kind of a win in my book in this regard because that ecosystem. I'm just worried for that ecosystem. Like the amount of misinformation that spreads on it, and the sort of conspiracy sensitivity
Yeah,
that a lot of folks in my family have. Like it makes me really unhappy
yeah.
when I see them on Facebook. So a move away, I'm all for it.
I
Well,
agree
more
100%.
conspiracies coming to Signal, it seems. Well, the Arabs are coming, so bringing all the conspiracies with us.
In the end, the signal is just from the CIA. No, I shouldn't say that because then they're going to be WhatsApp. WhatsApp is from the CIA.
Signal will be from the CIA 10 years from now when the next thing
Yes,
comes up.
but WhatsApp is from the CIA now.
Yes, that's right. That's accurate.
Well, now you got the Habibis on Signal, so that's the first.
Uh, yeah. I mean, I wonder how much CIA listened to this one.
I, I would bet they're the first people who listen to it every time. They're biggest fans.
They're probably not listening to the ones we release. Even they're listening to.
Front row seats.
We're kidding,
Uh,
Sky. We love you. Thank you for protecting the name.
yeah, thank you for listening in and making sure we don't say anything inappropriate. Just
You keep us honest.
yeah, it's just to make sure that I can go into the US or something again in the future. But yeah, no, I don't know. I'm just laughing because I just got a message with a flower.
Very topic.
Yeah, that's sweet. Yeah, it's a really pretty one. There's
You have
no
to share
message.
it.
Please send it in the Habibis chat. I'm gonna start sending you guys good morning messages every day.
No. Well, we do have that Discord that we should start using at some point, but let's
Let's get the flower photos on the Discord.
yeah, let's collect some flowers first so we can actually use the Discord properly. We'll probably talk about it in one of the future weeks.
Absolutely. I think this is a good time to end it. I think we had a great chat. Thank you, everyone, for listening in. Honestly, we're really amazed by your reception. We're very, very happy to be doing this. We look forward to it. All three of us have said that this is the highlight of our week. So thank you very much for joining us on our journey.
Salam.
Salam.
Salam. That was the Habibis podcast for this week. I'm Osama Dorias, your host for this episode. You can find me on Twitter at Osama Dorias. My fellow Habibis were Rami Ismail, you can find on Twitter at THA_Rami, and Fauzi Mesmar, who you can find on Twitter at Fauzi Mesmar. Send us your questions, stories, suggestions via info@thehabibis.com. Intro and outro music was provided by Malik Zubaydah, and the logo was provided by Ibrahim Hamdi. The Habibis is a weekly podcast about three game developers drinking good era tea, with new episodes launching every Friday, inshallah. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcasting service, or check out thehabibis.com for more information. Thank you for listening, and Assalamu alaikum.